Well, I thought I want to make a sort of medium-sized sort of serving dish, lidded terrine thing really. And a bit of a foot, sort of pedestal foot, and then flaring out at the top. Never made one before. Don't know how it'll go on with making a gallery on something, so it's going to be quite flared, but we'll give it a go anyway. Just centre it up. Keep the top quite thick all the time so I can put a gallery in the top. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to sort of lift it up and flare it out a touch so it's going to be a bit wider at the top. I'm still leaving enough thickness to put the gallery in. So to put the gallery in, I'm just going to use my finger. Like so, and squeeze down to form a ledge. Slow it down a bit now. And to make the sort of pedestal foot, I'm just going to push in the base. And now, hopefully, I should be able to just flare it right out wide and hope it doesn't collapse. Collapsed. A bit tricky, it's getting a little bit thin actually. And that's the sort of shape I was after, maybe not ideally. Oh, it looks alright. Trim this foot a little bit. So there you go, that's like the bowl done anyway. Managed to do that without collapsing it. Just give it a quick sponging out. So what I'll do now, I'll just measure the width so I can make a lid to fit. So that's going to be the maximum, just a touch narrower. That's about the right thing. I'll put a couple of handles on as well, just for a bit of a design effect. But that's the bowl anyway, so that's alright. I'll get on and make try and make the lid. Never really know how much clay to use with these. I think that should be about right. So I want this to be quite a shallow lid, not a big round one. Not flat, but just slightly convex, concave, depending on which direction you're looking at it. So I'll centre it quite flat like that. And really it's just a matter of digging under a touch and slowly widening it out, giving a slight bow to the clay. Just check every now and again to make sure I don't throw it too wide. Oops, too wide already. about the right width. So that's what it's going to look like. Obviously I'll trim a lot off, make it a rounder shape. I'll just give it a quick test just to make sure it does fit and it isn't way too big. Yeah, so that's spot on. So tomorrow when they're all dried up a bit, I'll trim them, put a couple of handles on, trim the lid, turn the lid and put a knob on it, and we'll see how it looks. Well, alright folks, it's the next day, so I'll just turn my terrine up. It's not going to need much trimming, it's quite smooth. Just get bits of drawing lines out. A little bit of detail in the foot and plinth. I think that'll do. Just going to put a little band of colour on the rim. Just a touch of blue cobalt. And another bit just sort of down there. So that's that bit done. We'll do the lid in a minute or two. I'm just going to stick a couple of lug handles on. Just made a couple of simple lug handles. I'll just stick these on. It's so dark in here. I'll just force them on. Plenty of slip on. You could pull some handles, anything you like really. I'll just find my little brush. Oh, not organised again. Just to make a seal. Tidy the seal up. That's one on, put the other one on the other side. Make sure it's opposite. At the same height. And just push it on, plenty of slip on. Quite soft handle, so there's no problem about them sticking on. Smooth the join over. So that's the handles put on. I'll just push it up a bit. I think that's maybe make it look a little bit nicer, like a couple of horns. So that's the bowl done. Now we'll get on and do the lid, the fiddly bit. So this is the lid, obviously the wrong way up. So I'll just try and trim a bit of this rubbish out from underneath before I cut it off, flip it over and throw the knob on. That should do. I'll cut it off. I need to put another bat on, a bigger bat. Again with my little lines on, circular lines, which are a guide to centering it, so I don't need to tap centre. So if I line it up with these, I'll draw loads of them because the bat's a bit slippy, it should be centred. You can see that's centred. So again I'll just put a few bits of clay on just to keep it in place. While I tidy it up. this actually, because it's about the right shape now. Smooth her off. I think that'll do actually. So what I'll do now, not really any need to score it, but I will do, just to keep people happy. I'm just going to throw a little knob on, just judge a piece of clay, that'll do I think. So we'll just roll it into a bit of a knob shape before we start. I'll just put a big dollop of slip on, it's probably a bit big actually, take a bit off, push that on. And then we'll try and throw a knob. It's a bit off centre, isn't it? Try and throw a knob with minimal water so we don't make a mess. I want to get it nicely bonded onto the lid first. That's the main point. Make the lid, make the knob. Just flatten it out. Just lift her up a touch. A little bit narrower in the middle. That should do. Tidy it up, sponge, put another little line of colour on this lid just to match the pot. I think that should do for the lid. If I take my bits of clay off. So that's the lid done. I'll try it and put it on the pot now, which shouldn't really do because it's too wet still. But we'll give it a go. For the sake of the video. So there we go. That's the terrine done. Lid's a little bit tight actually, but the lid's wetter than the other pot, so it'll shrink and fit. So that's it done, my terrine. With a couple of handles on. Doesn't look too bad, quite pleased with that. So that's that, folks. Bit of a close up.